The 49ers had an issue where they had a guy who wanted out. It wasn't that long ago that Raheem Mostert had demanded a trade. He got a deal done to stick around in San Francisco. I haven't seen the numbers yet. The indications are it wasn't a great deal. It was just kind of a let's do something to make up here and get Raheem Mostert feeling better about where he is with the 49ers. Maybe some money got moved around. Look, this is a team that can get it done with a bunch of running backs, and that was my reaction when Mostert made his power play.
Right.
They'll just move on to somebody else. They still got their secret weapon in Jerick McKinnon, who's been on the roster for 2 years and had that torn ACL from early in 2019, like the last practice before the start of the week 1 preparations. If McKinnon's healthy, you've got other guys. You really don't need Raheem Mostert. I know he had that huge game in the postseason against the Packers, but you know how that offense is. You just put it's. We talked about it yesterday with the Vikings and Dalvin Cook. You just put somebody else in, and if that guy's banged up, you put somebody else in. And if that guy's banged up, you put somebody else in, and everybody you put in is going to get it done.
Yeah, well, no, you're right. It's the Shanahan run scheme. It's famous. It's special. I mean, we know that. You know, what you're right. Kubiak, Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shannon, whatever. I mean, they gash people every year, whatever offense they're in, and it just doesn't seem to matter. You know, and with a guy like Raheem Mostert, you know, this is something I can't remember, Mike, if I said this on my podcast last week or whatever. I was shocked when I heard like the trade demand and, you know, the agent. And what I chalked it up to on my podcast, I think I explained it to, I said something was lost in communication here. Because I know for a fact, like Raheem Mostert is one of Kyle Shanahan's favorite players, like ever. He loves him. You know, I mean, he gave him a new contract last year. And one of the things that I think Ahmed Fareed asked me on the podcast, he's like, well, what would you say to him? I was like, well, I would tell Raheem Mostert to call Kyle. Because to me, it just looked like something was lost, like people were talking to the wrong people, and he just needed to get into Kyle's ear. Now, the contract details, you're right. We don't know what they are. You know, it's reading to me like it's incentive-based. And, you know, I know my buddy Kyle Shanahan. When he likes a player and really is all in on the person and the player, he'll do his best to, you know, give the guy as much money as he can or make it happen. You know, and again, I don't know if it was a great deal or whatever it was, but let's also take into account, you know, like you said, the 49ers got a special team. Raheem Mostert, you don't want to give that up. They're special with running backs because of Shanahan and the running scheme and the offensive line. And Raheem Mostert, you've been on 6 or 7 different teams already, or 5, or whatever it is. You finally got a damn spot where you've carved out a niche. So I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad it worked out for the 49ers and my buddy. And I just, from everything I've heard, Raheem Mostert and what he's been through, I'm rooting for him too.
There is a general rule of thumb in league circles that if the details of a contract don't emerge within 24 hours after the news of the contract emerges, it's not a good contract for the player. So we'll see.
Yeah.
And that means it's a good contract for the team. We'll see what the details of the Raheem Mostert contract are. It's not like he had a lot of leverage, and at the end of the day, there were plenty of other guys who can run the football for the San Francisco 49ers, but it's good for them to keep Mostert happy, or at least as happy as he can possibly be, and keep him in the fold. And this 49ers team, you know, we're doing the state of the franchise. It's going to be a long time until we get to the 49ers. Yeah. We got them at number 2, Chris. I mean, they're bringing a lot of guys back, and even though going back to 0-0 after you have that special season, and it was so hard to get the number 1 seed, and it came down to the last game of the regular season, that there's a stability there. There's a confidence there. There's a sense there that they're just going to pick up where they left off last year. Yeah,
I mean, we've heard some of the comments, you know, Kyle Shanahan's made during the offseason. I mean, they're a phenomenal football team. Yeah, they're set right now. You know, and we got to see them in person in January. They're impressive looking in person. They got a special emotion about them. You know, they're one of those teams right now where just in sports in general, I sit here and think and go, man, you know, just talk about bad luck. I mean, it's just this could be a year that affects legacies forever and ever, you know, just across the board. But, yeah, just think about them, the Chiefs. I just look at you go, man, we're in the Super Bowl window. We got Patrick Mahomes. And, you know, with the 49ers, we got this great defense. And we might not even be able to play this year. And we might not be able to capitalize on this team that we, you know, worked so hard to build. You know, that's where I feel bad for coaches, athletes. And I feel bad for LeBron James on a great team in the Lakers. Here he is. I don't know what the hell is going to happen. It's just, you know, Tom Brady. This might be his last year if he can't play. It's just, it's a shame that way. And the 49ers are one of those teams I look at and go, man, that would really stink if they couldn't play football when you have a team that is certainly built to be in a Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl once again.
Or if you have a season that is rife with competitive imbalance and that has some, unfairness in various forms and fashions. At the end of the day, though, as we talked about last hour, it will be a complete season in that they will find a way to hand out a trophy, and there may or may not be an asterisk applied to it. There's never been an asterisk applied to the Washington Super Bowl trophy from '82 or the Washington Super Bowl trophy from '87. So, it's fitting that Washington would win the Super Bowl this year if it's another crazy upside-down season with lost games.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.